Good morning, everyone. It's Friday, August 14th, 2020, and 10 a.m. We're here to have a special session of Hunt County Commissioners Court. This meeting will be conducted by telephone or video conference in order to advance the public health goal of social distancing to slow the spread of coronavirus 19. Due to the COVID-19 crisis, the governor's orders regarding social distancing and special rules issued by the state regarding open meetings, there will be no public access to the location described above. This time I'll call the meeting to order. Commissioner Evans, Strait, Martin, Harrison are all present. I'm Judge Stovall presiding. Commissioners, you got the minutes from July 21st, 2020 special session and August 4th, 2020 special session. I'd entertain a motion for approval of the minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion and second. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Under new business, discussion related to the FY 2021 budget. Bruce, you want to start out with the corrections on the first few pages?
Yes, sir. Let me ask you this. Would it be appropriate just to kind of give a quick summary of where we are on the budget? So
Sure.
that we can,
Yeah. Floor is yours.
kind of let our public know?
That's right.
Okay, we're looking at adding $5 million to our fund balance this year to end up with a fund balance in general operating of around 18 to 18.5 million. This next year, we have in our proposed budget, which we'll put on the internet as appropriate on July 31st. We had on there, we had the no new revenue rate. This used to be called the effective tax rate. It's a rate that raises no new revenue for Hunt County based on the same property, on the same property we had last year. However, we did have new property added to the tax rolls this year, and from that, we were able to raise an additional $1,074,394. But the main emphasis I want to make is that our proposed tax rate, which is the no new revenue rate, is almost, or is 4 cents approximately less than the tax rate we had last year. So I think in the process of budget preparation with all involved, we have taken the position to try to do what we can to lessen the burden to our Hunt County taxpayers. Also, we have what's called the voter approval rate, which I didn't have on the proposed budget, but I do have now. We didn't get it till the next week, but it is on the website also. Voter approval rate is the same terminology, used to be called the rollback rate, and that rate is 48.9958 cents. Obviously, since we're looking at going with the no new revenue rate, that amount is an amount which at this point in time has no significance to us because we're staying at the no new revenue rate in our beginning talking about the budget. Now, the other thing, did you want me to mention some changes that we had made since the last time, since our proposed budget, the major changes?
Yeah, I mean, we had that one rounding error in the no new revenue.
That's a good point, and we do have it on the website in the not in the proposed budget, but in the form that the tax assessor collector prepared, that our no new revenue rate went down 1/10,000th of a cent because of a rounding difference, and that equates to $75 of tax revenue. And so our no new revenue rate is 46.7017 cents.
Right.
And that's simply that the comptroller requires a tax assessor collector not to round, just to drop off the last after 6 digits. Also, I guess to add to that, we have the breakout. We have allowed all the precincts the same rate as last year, which is 2.5 cents. That 2.5 cents will raise additional money for each precinct around $250,000, which in turn will enable each precinct commissioner to be able to do their jobs better in having the funds available to take care of needs for the precincts, which is the main thing is taking care of roads. The INS rate is basically the close to the same as it was last year, just to meet our debt service requirement. Maintenance and operations rate is going to be 35.5806 cents. And total, like I said earlier, proposed tax rate of 46.7017 cents. And that pretty well, I hope, summarizes it, Judge Stovall. And if you want me to go in on anything else, or
Now, has anybody got any questions, Bruce? Everybody good? Okay, let's just move on. You want to just go ahead and skip over and let's start going through each budget. The first one, of course, is my budget. It's county judge's budget. Basically, mine's all the same as it was last year. We did leave in an hourly employee without benefits. That was in there last year because we hired Mina to help us with the elections. I left it in here because it's elections again. I don't know if she'd come back and help us again if we needed her, but I left it there in case we had to have somebody to help us with the election. So, it's not for any, I have no intention of using it, but except for that. Any questions on mine? Now we'll go to the commissioner's office. Again, I think it's pretty much what it was, with the addition of a salary. I guess we can talk about that increase in that other salary if we go into executive session later, unless somebody has a thought about it. Okay. County clerk's budget. Any questions on it? We all good? County Court at Law 1. I met with the county court at law judges this morning. They had some questions over their budget. Amanda, did you get with Devin on that bond? I did not. Okay. County Court at Law 1, I had, let's see, I'd lower, he'd asked for $2,000 for a visiting judge, and I cut it back to $1,000, and I also did it, I think, in County Court at Law 2. They requested that I bump it back up to $2,000 and advised me that I might need to go higher. When Joel takes office, he's going to be disqualified on some cases, and we may have more visiting judges this time. I didn't think about that. So I think if we're going to bump it anywhere, we probably ought to just, we can bump his. He had asked for $2,000, I think, and I marked it down to $1,000 because I look back 5 years on everybody, and for the most part, they never spent any money on it until 18, 19, and I don't remember what the circumstances.
Going to 2,000?
Is everybody all right if we move that to 2,000?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Let me get two, because we may want to talk about that one a little bit. And I had marked his bonds, errors, and omissions down to 0 because I thought I had from Devin that he didn't pay any bonds every year, that he wouldn't have any this year since he took office last year, or whenever he took it, year before last. So we need to double check that. And if he has a bond expense, we need to put a bond expense in there. Any questions on that?
No. I'd like to make a statement which will cover all of it.
Okay.
We got to remember that under operating supplies and all this and what was spent in the line item of different things, that this COVID has reacted for the last 3, 4, 5 months. So what they've spent, once this goes away, we're liable to have an increase. So what you have put in there, I feel good about it. At first I was saying, well, if they hadn't spent this, why is he leaving it the same or increasing? So I wanted to point that out to everybody because that's throughout this whole budget on each
Yes.
on each level.
Yeah, because that's why we've got 5 point whatever million left over, because we haven't been operating everything necessarily at full operations. Matter of fact, that both judges said, they're concerned about next year even having a run over because of all the trying to catch up. Of course, I told them I'm throwing the dice because I don't think they'll even have court the rest of this year. Doesn't sound like they're gonna have court. So we'll have 9 months instead of 12 months again. So I think we still got plenty of money in there. So,
Thank you.
County Court at Law 2, the visiting judge, I did leave 2,000 there, but I don't know if we might want to bump that up. Daniel, you got any feel for how many cases that's going to involve with Joel not being able to hear them? Because I think we have to pay a judge, what, $1,000 a day or something?
All of them to begin with, and that'll taper off over time.
Well, I think if I understood them right, they're going to try to shift some cases back and forth so that Tim can handle them if there's a conflict, as long as they can keep it balanced.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what the civil versus criminal percentage is, but at least in the beginning, he will probably be conflicted from hearing any criminal cases because they all went through his office. But certainly they can shift things back and forth on the civil side.
Right.
Judge, if I can intervene, we don't pay them $1,000 a day, we pay them the daily rate of what the judge is making at the time, what that judge is making.
Even for county court, I knew they did in district court, but I didn't think they did it county court at law.
Plus mileage,
That's all we have to pay them?
the daily rate of what they're making.
Okay, well, perfect then. Well, we don't have that much expense. We're probably good then.
Yeah, I'm sure working together they shouldn't have any problems,
Yeah.
especially because with misdemeanors they turn over pretty fast.
Okay. They did ask, and I didn't put it in the budget, and they requested it again this morning, and I told them I was not gonna, I would present it, but I'm not for it. They wanted to hire a part-time person to oversee their guardianship docket, so to speak, and I just told them it doesn't look like they do enough guardian. I mean, of course, all the only expenses we're paying, I know, is for the ones that can't pay, but they wanted to pay somebody part-time $40,000, and ones we're paying for, both of them together, we're not paying attorneys $40,000 even for that. So I just told them I didn't think it was worth it to the taxpayers for that. If it gets to be a bigger issue, I agree they may need some help in the future, and they agreed, so they didn't argue with me, but I did tell them I'd bring it up.
Any appeals from the smaller courts in reference to it, would that, is that handled by just one, or is that fluctuated around?
It's handled by both, and they have a system where it's a lottery system. You can't tell which one you're going to get. I think for appeals, it's different for initial filings, but
Okay.
they both will handle all the JP and traffic court appeals.
Okay.
So that's a third area that's in addition to criminal and civil is evictions and property disputes regarding tenancy. And Joel will be able to hear those for sure.
Yeah, and in some, if it wasn't for COVID, probably our district courts can hear the same cases, so they could have even picked up some of Joel's if,
Yeah.
but their dockets, I'm afraid, are going to be so busy, they're probably going to have some visiting judges because.
Well, and that's really complicated though because the court's jurisdiction for district courts is different, and if it's not a certain amount of case value, it can't be heard by the district judges. They have to appoint somebody to do that. So
Okay.
there's minimum levels of jurisdiction there.
Okay,
Subject matter jurisdiction is different from dollar
okay,
jurisdiction.
all right. Okay, any questions on county court law 1 or 2? District 196. We don't have the 196 and 354th salaries yet, so I think y'all that's part of what y'all are meeting on today at lunch, isn't it, Bruce? For y'all's salaries and their salaries of their court.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so we don't have their salaries, everything else, I don't think,
Well, to clarify, salaries of the employees.
their
Yes, sir.
employees, yes. Yeah, the judges' salaries are set, but the employees' salaries, they dictate, so I don't have those, so we'll have to look at those later. District clerk's budget. Any questions, comments? JP one, I met yesterday was it yesterday, Amanda? This week, I think it was yesterday, with all of the JPs, and I'll kind of handle it. I'll just go over all of them at the same time. They all requested and argued that they should get the 4% raised. And I told them my position, I thought the court's position was that they're at the top scale of our salary survey, and that everybody else, elected officials, are way below it, and that we chose not to do that. So we're still good.
Do we need, for y'all's minutes or records, so y'all know what to do? Do we need to head nod or vote or anything?
I think we need to do it then when we get through with all of them.
Well, but we're going, it's gonna be.
Are you
such a
gonna do
big-
them one at a time?
Yeah,
Is
just
it
like,
easier?
just as we're doing it, what we've always done in the past is everybody just, agree, so they can go back and look at, because Ms. Linda's Swag keeps notes, and that way she knows if they have to go back and look.
Okay.
But I think everybody's in agreement. with
So
that.
we're in agreement, leaving all the JPs where they are?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, everybody, okay.
Thank you.
All right. There are some items that they asked for that I cut their budgets. When they budgeted in their DDC account, and they had lots of money in it, if they were using it for training, they had money budgeted in training in their DDC and out of the Fund 10. If they had enough of what they've been spending in their DDC, I marked it, their Fund 10 to zero, and let them spend down their DDC money.
If
That's
I'm-
non-taxpayer money.
If I'm not mistaken, wasn't there two of them that had that or one?
Well, there's probably only two, because only two of them have much money.
Okay, in reference to that, basically, wouldn't they still have to come, and I'm asking this because this did away with their operating funds or where they could,
We'll approve their budget for that DDC account too.
yes, okay, as long as they adhere to buying stuff that can be,
Yeah.
would they have to come to court in reference to that, or would all keep up with it?
No, they have control of that budget of that. Isn't that right, Stacy?
That is correct. It's Fund 68, Phil.
Fund 68.
Yeah,
The
like page
DDC is Defensive
113.
Driving Course
Okay.
Fund 68.
They got budget authority in Fund 68.
Okay, cool.
But all of the bills still do come through the auditor's office, yes, sir.
Say that again.
All of the bills still will come through the auditor's office for
Yes,
Fund
they'll
68,
get
yes,
that.
sir.
I would say that, JP2 had requested an additional employee, and I don't think we have it, I didn't think we had it in the budget, and I told him I wasn't gonna recommend it, and he asked for part-time. And I didn't tell him, but I'm more than happy if we don't need that, whatever it was, 19,000, I think, in my budget for salaries. If we don't need it for the election, I'm more than happy to have that transferred to his budget, so he'll have a part-time helper for part of the year, if that's okay with the court.
That's why I kind of see in November what it looks like.
Yes.
Yeah.
But if there's no reason for that money to sit there.
Yeah.
If he needs some help, at least we can get him some help. And I'll push that money there, because I have no intentions of hiring anybody part-time unless we have to have help with the elections office.
And that would be his hourly?
It would be the same as mine, hourly without benefits.
Hourly,
But actually, we just leave it in your benefit.
We're gonna leave it in we'll leave it in my budget for now.
correct.
And even if we spend part of it, there's some left, I'll move it to his budget so he can get a little help. He's trying to clean up some old files. He said he just got a lot of boxes of files they need to clean up and do some stuff anyway, so at least that'll help him get through part of it, if that's okay with everybody.
We'll move that later on.
Later, yeah.
Good enough.
Once we get through the election, we'll see where we're at. Hopefully, we won't need any help, but in case we do. we wanted some funds there to be able to get him some help. The county attorneys, everybody was good with all the JPs for, okay. County attorney, I gave you a handout, the email for, I think we talked at a meeting before last, and I was gonna inquire, and I did with this, Ms. Ramon, I guess it is, with the Office of Court Administration. And I asked her if I was correct that we paid a newcoming, county attorney the $140, and I asked, did we have to pay them the same supplement the district judges get? And the answer was, I am correct, that we paid them the $140, and unless the comptroller will check and see if he was a county attorney in any other county. And he didn't run like he never told us when he was running he'd been a county attorney before, so I don't think that'll be the case. But they said the comptroller will check on that, and and Bruce and I have agreed, I've got to call the comptroller's office to see how we're gonna work, because right now we get 84,000 from the state, but we assume when January gets here, they'll start sending the 70, but I'm gonna call and get that verified. Unless Brittany has the contact number.
Oh, yeah, I can make it work if I need to.
No, I get it. I'm messing with you. Other than that, I don't know of anything in there. I guess when we find out, we won't have to in the budget with the state portion. We've got enough in there, correct?
We have, what we could do is, when you get that, we can, revise the revenue account for that.
And then we'll have to revise.
And what we'll do is keep the balance budget, we'll, change the contingency expenditure, make the budget still get balanced.
Okay.
That's okay.
Yeah, because the 63, 538, that is calculated with Joel's 168 for however many paydays. Yeah, and then,
And 19 paychecks.
Right.
Yes, sir.
any other questions? District Attorney, any comment? I met with Noby a couple of times. He's very happy. I will say that Stacy helped me out. His forfeiture account, that's the one that's going down, getting low.
That is the one that's going down that we need to discuss what you're going, that's for.
He's
used
paying, what's he paying out of that? A stipend?
for- He
Or
is paying stipends to several employees, yes, sir.
he's paying stipends, and he didn't ask for any other increases or whatever, but he said that, he's been able to keep good people in his office and would like to continue to do that, and he thinks he's probably gonna be able to make it, but if he doesn't make it, I told him that we would move money out of contingency and take care of those employees for the remainder of the year. Is everybody okay with that?
What are we gonna,
We don't know what it'll be, because as long as he's
Okay.
got money, he's paying it.
good enough?
But I don't want them to get mid-year or 2 months into the budget, and then he's got some more, his forfeiture's getting low, but he's got some cases that are fixing to settle, and thinks he's fixing to get some more money, and he's probably gonna make it. It's been squeaky though for the last year or two, hasn't it, Stacy? Been pretty close. It's been getting pretty close, but I've told him we'll help him out if that's an agreement, if y'all are in agreement with that.
Yes.
Not to have to cut somebody's pay. Okay. So, Stacy, the way this is budgeted, that covers it, doesn't it? Because we've got it in there, figured, right?
At this time, we do, yes, sir.
Yeah. So it's in there, the money's in there, we just may not have to spend it. Okay? Auditor's office, we don't really know until after the meeting today. Treasurer, Brittany, you got any comments, or are you just here for? Okay. Any comments on treasurer's budget? Tax assessor collector?
May I ask a question? Let's see. In reference to this, what was the security services?
What's the number on it?
2192, about 10 down.
2192. Stacy, aren't they on a separate system over there? Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. They're on a separate security system.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, they're on a different system from what they were this time, because they have 1,437.
Hang on a second. Make sure. Let me double check that, Philip. Good catch. I don't know. Let me look. Tax collector. That's my fault. He'd requested 7,000, which was what he had last year, but he'd been only spending about 1,500. And I had a question mark by it, and I forgot I didn't ask the question of Stacy of what we've been paying. I wasn't going to budget the 7,000 if we're not paying that much.
Okay, but he's only spent evidently 1,437, and
Yeah, but that's through April. He paid last year. He paid 1,523 in the year. Oh, hang on a
That's
second.
through
Get on
August.
the right line. Well, I'm look. Okay, I don't. What? I'm not looking at that one. I'm sorry. I was looking at my worksheet. Well, it's still the same 1,437. Yeah,
Like $2,000 or $1,500, $2,000.
yeah. That's Stacy. Was that covering a couple thousand?
It will, yes, sir. 2,000 will be funded.
So we'll make that change to 2192 should be $2,000.
thank you.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay. Any other questions, tax assessor? Facilities maintenance. Any questions on that?
You want to talk about these raises up there? Y'all need them.
Yes.
minutes?
Let's see. We moved. Let me get my sheet out. With the COVID, he requested that Liza. Is that right, Amanda? Is it? Eliza, yeah. Become the like a lead person for all of the janitorial, and he asked for a second person. Of course, this is all going to be in Fund 15
With the exchange building.
on the exchange building. So we put an additional, because we got to do more cleaning when COVID and it opened back up. He said he's going to take 2 positions over there. So we added a position, and we're paying her 6,000 stipend out of the exchange building for the promotion that she's getting to be the supervisor of all of the janitors. Plus she does some cleaning herself, but she is the coordinator of all of the janitorial. And I'm getting, I did have another conversation, speaking of janitorial, with the broker from Workforce, and he called last week, I think it was, and said they were still wanting to take over the janitorial, wanted to renegotiate the contract or the lease. And I said, well, I tell you what, I said, I really don't want to do that, but your lease is up in a couple of years, a little over 2 years. I said, why don't we just do a whole new lease? And he said, well, I like that idea. I'll get back to you. So I don't know what we're going to do, but that way we at least know. I said, at least we all know long term if
That's
they're going to
right.
try to do something else, we'd like to keep them, and we'll negotiate it. But I don't want to negotiate something now and then turn around in another year or two and have to negotiate another lease. So that's where we're at on that. We also added a maintenance person to the Fund 15 for maintenance. Probably going to use it mostly down at the, just wherever, but they're staying behind on the jail. I don't know if y'all get all the emails, but I get the emails of repairs necessary at the jail, and they're staying several days behind on getting it all done. So he requested another person, and I put it in the exchange building because the way I looked at it, we've been trying to keep that separate so we can kind of keep up with what's going on. And when something happens over there, we send nearly everybody over there. So we've never paid for any maintenance over there. We pay for janitorial, but we've never paid any maintenance out of that budget. So I just said, well, let's put a maintenance person in that budget, but they can work wherever in the county. And he requested $3,000 raise, I think it was, on Spradlin that works in the jail. That's the young man that worked for us for free, or not for free. It's free to us. He was in the Air Force.
1,500 plus the 4%.
That's what it was. Okay, 1,500 plus 4% to move him along. He's
Yeah, made it total 3,000.
yeah, it made a total of 3,000. Yeah. So he had started out kind of low, and he's really catching on. He's going to school. We got high hopes for him of really being with us a long time and maybe being able to move up some. So we want to encourage him. The rest of them, I think we just got 4%. Am I right, Stacy? I don't have my
That is
payroll.
correct.
I
Adding a
think I
new
got 'em
maintenance
all.
position at the exchange building and then a new janitorial position at 31A
Right.
at the exchange building.
And then we already talked about, we gave Chris a raise. We talked
Yeah.
about that at the last meeting. Okay? Any other questions on that?
Yes, I have a question. I need to
Okay.
find out something. We did away with the jail down here, and I don't know what street it's on.
Annex, yeah.
Yes. Where's that on here?
For maintenance,
Yes.
I think we just did it. There's hardly ever any maintenance to it, so I don't know that we even had a line item for it. Do we, Stacy?
We don't, no, sir.
Yeah, I don't think there's a line item for it.
Okay, that's what I was wondering, because we're gonna be not having any expense on that except as a possible storage type situation.
Storage is all they're telling me right now.
That's what I'm asking.
Now, I don't know that, the plan at one time was to move evidence, and then I got an email saying, the jail administrator wanted to turn it into storage and, like a repair shop for redoing mattresses or something. They have to recover them or do something, I don't know. So she was wanting to start using it for storing mattresses and doing work on them or whatever. So I don't know, that's up to the sheriff what he does, I don't know. I don't know what they're gonna do. But we don't have any money in there. All right, facilities, utilities, they are what they are. Sheriff's corrections. Let's see.
Is it outside or not? Is it separate from the FAA or?
Well, that's not the sheriff, but that's the corrections first.
I don't know where I'm.
You want my notes?
Yeah, I don't know what I wrote it under. I didn't
Yeah.
give you my notes. I don't.
No, I wrote them down. I can go ahead if.
Oh, I know where it is. I left it on my notepad. I left it on my desk and brought a different notepad. Yeah.
Okay, let me go through. This is, what, organization number 1900, to make sure I'm in the correct one.
Yes, sir.
I'll go through the, changes that I made, from the previous printout you had. One of them has to do with, line 30, let's see, count number 3410. That is expendable equipment. I think they had 2,500 in there originally. We added 7,000 to it to make it 9,500. And I know as far as explanation, that's a Bobby question on how that.
Yeah, we had, they were gonna, what they had requested, they could easily get it right now. And they had plenty of, they hadn't spent much money on their food. I think they got well, you can look up and see what it is. Quite a bit of money left in their food. Yeah, there's, almost $200,000 in there. So I asked them to buy those, expendable tools. One of them was the, there was one $7,000, not sure if they were bulletproof vests or what, but they can't get them by October 1st. So we put that back in it, and I had left them with 25, I'd
That
proposed
was a
2,500,
training deal.
and then the one thing they couldn't get was 7,000, so we added that back in.
That was that training vest, wasn't
It's, it's bulletproof vest, it's
Yes.
9 bulletproof vests,
it? Yes.
and they couldn't get them in time, so.
Ready for the next one?
Uh,
Account number.
may,
Go ahead.
oh, I'm sorry, go on.
No, I want to know, I mean, are we ready to go to the next one, or do y'all have more questions on that particular?
I have more questions on that one.
Okay.
You're talking about anything else in reference to the corrections?
Yeah,
Okay, now I asked this the other day, and basically in reference to the siphons in reference to phone. Okay, and I believe if y'all were thinking about doing some possible rental of some type of.
Yeah, I was gonna, let me go ahead with the changes that we've
Yeah,
done.
let's go to
and
changes,
maybe
we'll come
tho-
back to that.
Maybe those will answer your questions, and then if there's any after that, then.
Good enough.
Okay, line 2320, we have added $7,000 to that line, communications, and that will increase it to an amount of 16,000. And I think that might help answer your question there.
Okay,
we're not gonna
cool.
pay stipends, they're gonna, the, new incoming sheriff, and I told Bruce, I think it's really a good idea. They're going to those, special phones, I don't know what they're called, but the only emergency people can have them. And so if like, when we had the tornado downtown or the high winds downtown, I was at the courthouse, and then I went outside, and when everybody started coming around and all, I couldn't get out on my cell phone, and Richard Hill could get out on his, cause they get,
Do you remember what that's called, Steve?
FirstNet.
FirstNet. So the sheriff wanted all his deputies to have, not all of them, he wanted 12 people in the jail that are their supervisors to have them, and then 43 deputies. And so they carry them all the time. If they need them, they don't have an excuse not to answer the phone.
The
So
other-
that phone's gonna work.
The other neat thing about them was Terry and Buddy have already got one trying it, is they also work as a two-way radio, but they don't use a repeater. And he said you can 200 miles away radio somebody. I don't have to dial them.
Yeah, so they're
Okay,
pretty
they
neat.
can-
So we're budgeting, doing away with the stipends, and we're furnishing the ones that we've been paying stipends to a phone. And it's
Okay, but-
costing us $47 a month per phone, I think, Stacy.
Okay, but these,
This
if I
time all we
may ask,
received
these
was that first
phones,
bill.
Yeah,
just to
I think it's
try out.
47 a month.
Yeah.
What we
these
got.
phones will allow, I'm not so much about the correction, but the other deputies, it'll allow them to call each other, as far as talking, for instance, if something's happened, a lot of time, the security of the regular radio that we use is
Right.
not used, the phones are, for the simple reason nobody can hear them, but this will have that capability.
My
also.
understanding.
Good enough. Thank you.
Steve may know, he does.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's FirstNet. I think I said first choice, but it's FirstNet. That's what it's called.
FirstNet, yeah. So you have to be law enforcement or emergency management to get them, so. And it gives you highest priority on the cell lines, so. Okay, Bruce?
Okay, that's all I had for Organization 1900, the jail. Now I can go, or is that all anybody wants to discuss on that? You ready for me to go to the sheriff's office?
One thing on the jail before we go, and it's also on the sheriff's office, is about the certificate pay. And it was coming out of what fund was it coming?
It was coming out of,
Crime control.
the,
Crime
what?
control.
Crime control, which is a state forfeiture fund.
Right, yeah,
Yeah, it's not taxpayers' dollars, but we're
right.
now
And
putting it in the
it's
general
going,
fund.
that's broke, I think, or going to be soon.
It is broke, yes,
It is
sir.
broke.
And that's whenever we met with, and that's what we talked about, as far as
Well, I need to go
the
work.
certificate pay, it was a good incentive to incentivize our employees to get more educated, be better employees, and
Right.
know more, so that's what.
Yeah, there's, so everybody knows, in the past, the sheriff has not spent much money out of his commissary and some of the other accounts that he could have had. The new sheriff is agreeable. He doesn't want to keep those kind of fund balances, so some things that they were thinking they were gonna get, they were gonna pay for out of their other accounts that's not in our budget. So it makes it a lot easier for us to help them. And and we'll talk about that a little bit more, but we did a little trading. They said, hey, we'll pay for this if you'll let us do that. And so that's what we did when we worked out some of the budget stuff. But we are gonna have to pick up the certificate pay this year. We've always had it budgeted, but it was offset by revenue from them, and we're just not gonna have the revenue this time. Okay, no real questions there. We'll go on to the SO. And Bruce, if you'll
Yes, sir.
clarify that, since I don't have my notes with me.
I'll start with account number 3410, expendable equipment and tools. We had a reduction of $90,653 from what we previously had, and that new amount is $95,007. And I'll let you comment on that, Judge.
Okay, I think that's the one that car 3410, that was expendable equipment, and they had requested 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, about 20 separate items that they were gonna purchase, some of them multiple ones. They already bought all of those they could, or said they would pay for them another way. And the only thing we had to leave in there, again, the bulletproof vest, then the truck and the Tahoes that they've already purchased are gonna have to get all the upfitting for law enforcement, the lights and all that stuff. They can't get that done before October 1st. So that stayed in the budget. And Watch Guard and what's Watch Guard, guys?
Cameras?
It's cameras.
Yeah.
They have about every year they're replacing 4 in the cars to get them updated, keep them updated. It's the cameras that, I think they're getting panoramic cameras now instead of just,
Let's try to.
and I think they've gone to digital too, haven't they, instead of analog? Yeah, so they're just slowly upgrading their cameras every year on their vehicles. So that's what those changes are.
Okay, the next one is account number 4200, equipment. We reduced it $204,515 to come to the amount of $223,856.
And that's the account those vehicles were in, and we were able to get those at a discount and buy them in their budget this year. So we've already purchased those. I guess they've already got them, as far as I know. They were sitting on a lot to be picked up, so I assume they've gone and got them. So we've already paid for those. So the only thing left is, I don't know if y'all remember, Buddy's been in here a time or two, and they've been getting grants and upgrading all the radios in their cars and walkie-talkies to digital, but our base station was still analog. They're wanting to upgrade their base now to be to digital and get away from analog, which will help them get better coverage and better reception, the whole 9 yards. So the 223 is for that new radio base console for the 911 emergency services
Dispatch.
line dispatch. Yeah, thank you. So we knocked off 205,000 off the budget there. Now is that all of it, Bruce?
There's one more account.
Okay.
It's communications 2320. We raised it 2,000 up to 55,000, and I think that has to do with those
That's
phones
the
we're talking
phones.
about.
That's the same phones we just talked about. And then we did away with mobile home phone allowances. It'd been 15,000 in prior years' budget, and we've been spending 10 or 11. So we're spending a little bit more money and furnishing them the phones. In the original budget, I told them they had requested some additional positions, and I told them until we got, that we wanted to get to the no new revenue fund, balanced budget with no new revenue tax rate, and before I was gonna talk to them about it, and that they were gonna have to help us find some money in their budget before we talk about adding a position. So all that's been accomplished, and they requested 4 positions, and I told them I don't think that we need to do that. And what I'm recommending to the court, and they're okay with it, is they need a new communication officers and dispatch, because they got one shift that doesn't have but one person. They need 2 there all the time. And so they want to add a person at $31,842. And they want to add another position, and Stacy's going to hate me, but they want to add a position, and it's going to be an administrative with a salary of $52,000. But they don't want to add it until the new sheriff takes over, and I think they're going to make some changes in levels of or titles of people. So I'm not sure what they've used it as a crime analyst planner. I don't know if that's what it's going to end up being or not. But when the new sheriff takes office in January, there'll be some amount of reorganization, and they want to add a person in administration.
May I ask something in reference to this? I know a lot of the, there were certain stipends that had been taken from drugs as far as forfeitures and stuff like that. From my understanding, are we still taking, or do we have monies to be taken from,
The forfeiture
replace
account is real low, but they do still have monies that are in the courts that just takes time to get it through. So they're still got money coming in, but it's not like it used to be. Whoever used to work the highway, I don't know who
Yes.
it was, but he got a lot. He got drug in a lot of things off the highway, and what I understood, some of them might not have been exactly the right way to do it. So he moved on, and then he's moved on another time or two. But we're not
doing anything?
we're not doing as much of it on the interstate anymore,
Okay.
because we're just not as successful anymore.
Okay, but are we having to increase from the general fund to take up for these stipends, or are they taking
Yes, on
care
some
of
of them,
themselves
yeah.
right now?
Well, yes, on some of them. Yeah, like the certificate pay. The law enforcement certificate pay.
That's
We're-
they're gonna get that out of the stipend, or we're taking care of that one?
We're taking care
We're
of
gonna have to take care of it because it's broke.
Okay, that's what I-
Right now, it's broke, but they may get money eventually, and we may be able to get some of it back, or get them back to paying for it again.
But at this time.
But at this time, we're gonna have, we got a plan like we gotta pay for it, because they don't know when they'll get any more money.
That's salaries and anything else.
Yeah, but we've got it budgeted, but it's in our it's in the budget for Fund 10, and it won't be reimbursed, probably. And then one other position they asked for, they asked for 2 other investigators, and I said no, but then they want a new position in the jail of a compliance lieutenant, and all they want out of that is a salary increase of $7,734, and they're gonna promote somebody or add that to a person to put more work on already a lieutenant, or however, they need that much
Take
more
some off
money.
of Miss Sherman.
Huh?
Take some off Miss Sherman.
I guess so, yeah. So they want additional authority for $7,734, but I don't know who that person is, but they want budgetary authority to do that. So I told them I was good with those 3, but I did not want to fund 2 other investigators. I think I was a little reluctant. I mean, I told them I kind of thought we ought to wait and let the sheriff get in there and kind of get his feet wet, and then look at it again, look at it next year. So I agreed finally that said, look, I'll recommend that we do 2 this year, and then we'll relook at it next year once you get in there and figure out what you really need. So
Judge,
if the court's all right with those additions,
okay, but that is, all this stuff that we're talking about, I agree with, okay?
Okay.
But it is in this budget.
not
page.
right now, it's not.
Okay,
But we've saved how much, Bruce? 400,000 or something between the 2 of them.
Of course, we had some real small changes to JP, but the total was $277,933.
Right. And we're fixing to have some more to add to that when we get further in the budget. So we got the money within this budget, because of some of the savings that we're making, or some money's already been spent.
And would the $7,734 increase be before the 4% or after?
I would say it would be after, because it'll be in next year's budget.
Okay.
No, yes,
Yes,
after.
you're right.
Because it won't get here until next year,
Okay.
right? So the first payment next year, whoever will get that 7,000,
Starts January.
whatever I told, 7,734, and a position of 52,000, and a position of 31,842,
All starting October 1st.
all starting October 1st.
Okay. That's what I
Everybody in
needed to know.
agreement with that?
Yes.
Everybody good?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Health, environmental. Let's see. Any questions on that? Did we we moved, we were given, let me see if I got my notes here. We gave some raises to, but they're not in this fund, are they, Stacy? It's to the inspectors.
This is just the health department, correct?
This is Pam's, isn't it?
Yes, yes.
Stacy, is this one Pam's?
No, this is right next door.
Next door, that's what I was
Oh, it
thinking.
is?
I think it's that one.
Okay.
And we gave some increases to, we took some funds out of the department head, since we really don't have a department head. I mean, our department head is
Right.
Richard, so that salary line item was not there. Richard said the two inspectors that we have are doing a great job. They hadn't had much of a bump in there. We did some comparisons, and they needed some raise, so I don't remember what we give them, Stacy.
Brittany Cooper is given a raise from 38,606 to 42,680, but another $1,000 pending her passing the RS test.
Yeah, she's already got one license, but she's fixing to pass the highest license, and that'll give her the ability to do septics. Now she can only do septics, but she's fixing to pass the test, or, taking the test to be able to do restaurants
This is
also.
down here.
So we'll have both of them that can do both
It's
then.
over here.
And that is in this budget.
And that's in the budget, but we looked at some other counties, and that got them up about where they, probably getting close to where they ought to be. We're
Yeah,
still
but it
not up
says
to what,
environmental
I think
at
the
the
others
same
were making
time.
45 to 48, and we got them to 43 or 44 or something like that. But that 23, I guess I thought we were gonna zero that out. Are we paying anything else out of that? We don't have a department head person, do we?
I mean, you never told us whether you wanted to zero
It's
it.
probably my fault, I'm just saying, I just noticed it, but,
Do
I
you want to
think,
zero it out?
yeah.
Okay.
I mean, we gave Richard a raise
Right.
already, from last year, so that one ought to be zeroed.
Which one is that?
Very top.
Department
top
head,
one?
1120.
1120
Okay.
and 2200.
Let me ask you this. Now, this is health, and that's over here, not environmental.
That's the
That's
health
over
department,
here.
yeah, in this building. Basically, they do the restaurants and the septic permits.
Yes.
Then,
I was looking at the travel in and out of county. And that might, the current budget is, well, the original was 12, and it's 9. And I was looking at the 11,000. Is that gonna change once COVID goes away, or do we need to leave it to be the same?
well, I mean, in the previous years, they'd spent almost 10,000 and 10,565, and I don't know why that, they moved some budget authority around this year, and,
Well,
down-
the travel allowance was for the director of the health department. That was their travel allowance. That's why it's zeroed out, because there is no director now. Well, it's
In
Richard.
2350?
You're talking about in and out of county?
11,000.
Which one are you,
The travel allowance up at the top.
No, they're talking about 23.
Okay.
we're talking about 2350. Yeah, the travel allowance up top went away. But travel in and out of the county, it looks to me, I mean, I dropped it a little bit from the 12,000. I think that, I'd have to look and see what they requested. Y'all, I guess y'all figured all that requested budget's wrong. That's not what they requested. If you don't know, the software doesn't actually do it. I've spent a little time correcting some of those for Bruce, and then I found out it wasn't his fault. He entered them right, they just don't print right. So you can't pay any attention to the requested budget line.
I'm all right with it.
Okay.
Okay.
It's not any different than it was a year ago, as I understand.
All right, any other questions on that budget?
Judge, actually, the department head salary, that is actually needs to be put down to the admin stipend for the doctor. That's actually what the doctor is getting. That
Oh, okay.
Okay, the 23.
So that stays there?
No, it needs to be moved down to 1145 admin stipend for doctor. That's what we're budgeting for the doctor.
Oh, okay. Okay, gotcha. So that is, it's still there, just in the wrong place?
It is, yes, sir.
Okay. And we have a contract with her for another year, is that correct?
Who?
Huh?
With,
With Dr. Rushing?
yes.
I think ours is a
through
calendar-
October of 2021, I
Okay.
believe.
That's what I was thinking, for another
Yeah.
year is what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Okay, the co-op. Any questions on that? She did call and ask me, she's been spending $320 about a year, around 300, and was asking for $750 again. She hadn't spent any this year. I told her I mean, she's got $750 there. She can buy enough paper for 2 years in this year's budget, so. That's kind of what I did. If everybody's all right, if not, we can bump her up and she won't have to buy so much right now. Anybody have an opinion?
It has been in this year.
I don't have page
She
29.
hasn't spent any,
on
so
it.
she got,
Yeah.
she knows she doesn't have any budget
Is
starting
that on
next
your
year. She can
page
buy it up the
29?
first year and she should be in good shape. Buy it in September. Okay,
Okay, mate, can we hold off on that one for a second? I don't have page 29. I'm looking at the older one back here. On this new one, I don't have 29, extension office.
okay.
Was that 4%?
Yes, they got the 4%.
Okay, cool.
Constables. We got 4 new constables coming in. So I had Steve and Terry Jones help me, and I think we've got them all where they need to be. The constable, Wolf City 3 or 4?
They're not getting raised.
Do what? No, they didn't get the raise.
Yeah, I was just asking her for her records that we did mention that the constables did not
Yeah.
get the 4% raise.
Yeah, everybody's in agreement the constables did not get the 4% raise, correct?
Agree.
We're all in agreement, yeah.
May we talk, well, that would be 0. There was something. He's gonna keep. I've noticed this, and I believe there was one before, basically, it did not have liability insurance in reference to, this one, I don't know where they plan on using their car, but auto liability insurance, there were several of these things that didn't address that. Is there a reason?
Well, I guess it's because the loss department hadn't sent them to us, Stacy, is that?
I don't know why.
I think, well, help me, Stacy, on this, but wasn't the loss department used to pay all of this at one time?
The human resources,
Yeah.
Yes.
yes.
And so then this past year, all of a sudden, she started charging everybody for it, and so in previous years, people, I think, maybe didn't have this in their budget. So that's probably what happened this year. They didn't put it in their budget, so.
So
That's
have we
where-
gone back
I
and
think
put it in
so.
her budget then, or we got it?
Sheriff, where the,
have to
that
look
liability insurance in reference to
It's
Sheriff
been
General,
divided out for
Sheriff
years.
General Fund,
Yes,
Yeah.
does not have auto liability.
it's been paid by the departments for, I know, at least 8 years.
Yeah.
Well, I would say that's a very good question.
I would say that was a question for
No,
the
I-
HR director.
And there was some,
Yeah, we don't have anything, we got the property insurance, but we don't have anything in automobile insurance in her budget.
and that was something else that basically it had to do with,
She just
Here.
texted me and said, no, that is not true. Auto has always been paid out of individual budget.
Well, that's fine. Well, she needs to get us the numbers to
Yeah,
be able
we,
to put
we
in the
don't have the
budget.
numbers. But also, if I may, well, it was the auto liability, but also insurance in reference, for instance, Wolf City. The Wolf City, we own that building
Oh,
up there
JP.
now, correct?
Right.
Yes.
Okay, but
And
also
Commerce.
the one in Commerce. And I was thinking, and I have to go, I didn't get to redo this match.
It should be under the property insurance that's in, personnel and loss
Was
control.
it on there or not?
We got budgeted $105,000.
Yeah, let me, do you want me to put you on speaker that way you can tell us?
We can
Hang on a
address.
second, hang on a second.
Okay, go ahead.
Hey, on the auto insurance, it's always been paid out of individual budgets. The auto insurance has always been paid out of individual budgets.
Okay, we
Normally
need those,
what,
can you get us
the
those
previous
numbers?
auditors and all have done is what they've done is take what they spent last year and add 10% in.
Gabe is asking for you to mute your YouTube.
I'm gonna have to go.
Okay, go
Okay.
ahead.
Yeah, what they've always done is done that. The numbers are in the budgets from last year, showing what they spent, and then we normally add about 10%. Unless they are getting a lot of vehicles, new vehicles, then we are going to have to add extra. I don't usually have the numbers until I know how many vehicles they're purchasing, and
Well,
it's just
you-
basically a guess because the insurance doesn't renew until February.
May I suggest this? We need those numbers, and I don't believe we're gonna get them today. But if we may, can we have those numbers possibly? I believe we're having a meeting Monday. If we can get that, but also go back over and make sure everybody else. And also in reference to, well, that wouldn't be yours, the property insurance. I wanna
Okay.
make sure that that's covered on the buildings that we own.
He's asking if Wolf City and Commerce is on the building insurance, property insurance.
Those come out of mine. All property insurance comes out of mine except for the precinct.
Comes out of her.
They have theirs individually.
Okay,
And yes,
Now, we
those
pay ours.
properties are already in my budget because we've already added those to the insurance.
okay. Thank you.
So I can get you those numbers on the auto Monday morning.
Okay, thank you.
My liability is
Okay.
gonna increase. It needs to come up.
Okay,
I'm having to go back and forth because I didn't get through this enough. Thank you.
Good catch there, Philip. I think what happened is a lot of people put in that in their budget and some people did not. And so we'll just have to make sure that everybody has a vehicle that, in the budget, that we have auto liability insurance.
So that'd be probably $3,100 in there, something like that. If she adds 10% to it
For,
for auto liability insurance.
on the constables?
Yeah. It's 2907 and she said she had 10% to it, just to be careful.
What's she estimating?
Eric said I
Do we want to wait on her figures or just put 10%?
I
I think
Let's
we
just
need
wait
to
on her.
wait on her figures.
I just realized on, on Constable 3, which is Wolf City, I know I went back and forth with Terry and talking to, he was communicating with the new constable, and he got me the vehicle that he wants, but I don't have money in here for him to buy a vehicle. So we're gonna need, of course, we won't have to have it till the first of the year, cause he won't start till the first of the year.
Are they doing the enterprise lease?
Yes, that's the plan.
Okay, what we can
So we're
do,
gonna, they're running about $750 a month, aren't they?
it depends on who and but
Yeah.
average about, I had it earlier.
37.
About 900 and something counting about nine, but anyway, we have money in, organization 2800 for enterprise for these type of issues that come up, not knowing when vehicles come in. We can, make a budget amendment at that time
Does he have a
to
vehicle
fund
at
it for
all?
them once we know what kind of enterprise vehicle is getting and the cost of it.
And we didn't create line items for any of those until they actually received the vehicle. That way, it's not a line item sitting out there budgeted and not being used.
What number is that?
On,
32.
2800, what was it?
Enterprise
yeah,
for 2600, Department 2600.
yeah, it's gonna be, down here, account number 2145. I have 325,000 in there, and that was an estimate based on a list that Ursula provided me, knowing that not everybody on that list was probably gonna get a vehicle. and
Out of Fund 28 or
Well, that's
Organization 2800,
2800, right?
it used to be
Oh,
called.
I got it, I see it.
Okay.
Gotcha. So we'll cover that vehicle in that one and we'll be good?
Yes, sir, that
It's in
way,
there.
that way when he
talking
orders
about
the vehicle and we have
leasing
what it's
one,
gonna
right?
be.
Okay.
Actually, we don't do it till it's delivered, correct?
Correct, yes, sir.
But and knowing that may be one, and I don't know if Steve gets involved in this, but needs to be ordered so that he'll have it in time before he
Yeah,
comes
we'll
on
have to
duty.
order it when the budget year starts.
Why don't we do this, because we don't know when it's gonna come in, to ask the sheriff if one of those vehicles that is, that has been, sitting out there, if it's available as far as radio and everything till we get it in.
Okay. All right, so that'll take care of that item. Any other comments? Okay, then we can go to general administration budget, 2800.
I can make a comment or two on
Why
here.
don't you?
There was one, I think everybody had a request for the, let me find it here, it had to do with the senior,
Yes.
no, never mind, that's later down the road.
No, yeah, it's
Let me
public
go
service.
ahead and make a comment just on the contingency amount here. That amount, we increased it by 277,000, when we made those adjustments to the sheriff's department. So, assuming on the dollar amount of what happens with what Bobby talked about on the positions and so forth and all this, obviously we'll run it through the contingency in order to keep the budget balanced.
You're talking about 7,600?
7,600, yes, sir.
Yes.
That's gonna fluctuate as we make revisions to the budget. Okay,
Yes.
all right, veteran service. Somehow, some way, someday, we gotta get him a better place to be. He's not in a very good location, but I don't know what to do about it. He's doing a great job for the veterans and we need to get something worked out. I just don't know where we can move him to. Okay, information services. Let me get my folder out. We're gonna have some revisions to that too. Same thing that we've done with the sheriff's department is, I asked him, he had a pretty good amount of budget, items that he was gonna need this next year, and with COVID and having excess funds in our current year's budget, I asked him to try to spend some of that so we could keep our tax rate down for next year. In the line item, make sure I give you the right one. 2235. That number is going to reduce to 36,650. And Bruce, you're okay now with ordering that time clock software? He said he'd talked to you a couple of days ago, and we're going to get started on it this year.
Yeah, the main thing is we cannot pay in this year an invoice that's dated next year.
Right.
And if he's going to start the process this year, and it's a this year expenditure, then I'm okay with it.
Okay.
Even though it's going to be expenditure for future thing, but if it's for something for this year, then I'm okay with it.
Okay. Well, we're before we make that change, let's, Bruce, you and I talk to him and make sure that we're all on the same page. But if he can buy that software right now, then we'll lower that by 36,650. Then under 3420, technology upgrades, he's been able to acquire some of the requested in the budget, so the 323,450 budget's going to go down to 144,450, and all that has been turned into purchasing as of this morning or yesterday. So I'll okay. Well, Cheryl's out. Is Tammy there today, or Cheryl is? Okay. I just want to make sure we're good on that before we totally change that line item.
3420.
Since he just gave it to purchase, and I want to make sure Cheryl can get all of it
Correct.
before we make that change.
Yes, sir, I understand that.
Okay. And if all that happens, we'll reduce his budget $217,000.
36.
County network services.
Oh, you need the wages for IT. Okay.
Oh, I don't.
So they're on the record.
Okay. I don't remember what they were.
Oh. Brandon will be.
Thank you.
Brandon will be raised from 62,455 to 67,455 with no 4% raise on top of that. Then Ethan Spradley will raise from 35,000 to 40,000 with no 4% on top of that.
Okay. That Ethan's a new guy, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm good with all that. Is everybody good?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. We're all good.
And because there was a question about the treasurer, we did agree that the constables were not getting a 4% raise.
Correct.
Correct.
Constables are not getting a 4% raise. Anything else before we move on? Any comments on the next network services? That's just all software stuff, isn't it?
And the communications that go along with it.
Go
yes, sir.
along with it. That's non-departmental.
And Odyssey's all working great.
Not exactly, but it's a lot better.
It's a lot better.
It's a lot better. I had a complaint this morning about it, so it's not perfect. All right, personnel loss control. Comments there? All right, public services. Now, Bruce, this is where you got the senior citizen. Is it Meals on Wheels or community?
Committee on Aging.
Aging. And we've got in there right now at 59,600. Is that what they requested?
correct. That's what they
From
were requesting.
55,000, they requested we increase that to 59,600.
Yes, sir, and that's as you can see is in there.
We haven't done anything with the fire contracts. He sent us email as of this morning. I hadn't had time to try to review it.
I opened it. Did you open it? Commissioner
Yeah,
Action?
actually, I've got it printed out.
They
somewhere.
didn't give us, maybe one or two departments gave us their income level. All they
Yeah.
did is tell us what they didn't tell us any differences, or they just gave us their budget. They didn't tell us what the differences were.
Well, I'll try. I've been meaning to call Ryan. I'll call him and tell him they got to give us something that we can account for the money they're spending. We can't
I mean, it accounted for the money, but it didn't account for any of their other
expense income.
income.
You're right.
Yeah, nothing.
No.
Except the
They got to
Celeste-
get
Celeste was
financially
on-
transparent with us if we're going to spend taxpayer dollars. They got to
Celeste was
get
the only one that gave their funds received this year.
Right.
So,
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I know that some of the public's been upset with us because we haven't done more with them. But if they don't give us financial information that we know the taxpayers' dollars are being spent right, I'm not in favor of giving them the money, so.
I have, in reference to cash, we got this morning,
Right.
okay?
I didn't have a chance to
And
look at it. I
I'd like
saw
a
it.
chance to look over it. In fact, if,
Might try to call Ryan, see if we can get him up here Monday even.
that's what I'd like to see, if we can have them and also the chief down in Lone Oak come up here. If they can come in here and talk to us about this, that would be
are you
appreciated.
gonna talk to them, Philip?
Pardon?
Are you gonna talk to them, see if they can come?
Yeah, I'll call them and tell them,
Whenever
hey,
you
come
talk to
up
them,
here
they
and
need to
answer
bring
some
their-
questions.
They need to bring their income,
Pardon?
because we don't know, they need to bring their income. Because nobody, they put all their expenses, but they didn't show us what money they had brought in.
Yeah, they tell us they're hurting, but they don't tell us what money they got. They don't give us any financial, they need to give us some financial reports. I think if we're gonna continue to pay them, they need to give us a monthly financial report that we can review to know what they're doing.
I agree.
And if they can't give us a monthly financial report, they don't get their money.
Not an expense statement.
Yeah, not an expense statement, a financial statement. They need to give us one every month, so we know how they're spending taxpayer dollars. Until they do that, I just think we haven't been being responsible with those taxpayer dollars.
No, I agree. In fact, we deserve that. I have here in this packet, Campbell Volunteer Fire Department, for instance, income, tells all of it, then expenditures all the way through. It's in this. We need an opportunity to have them come up. Those that haven't furnished one of these, if we can get them, I'll get a hold of Biggers and I'll get a hold of Robert Whitehead, advise them that they need to come up here.
Right.
Reference to Monday to where they can give us all this information.
I
I got this morning. We have Celeste volunteer expenses through so-and-so and total expense and all this, so we hadn't had a chance to look at it.
Well, I want to say for the public, I'm all for helping the fire departments, but I'm not for them not being financially responsible to us with taxpayer dollars. So we've got to get with them and get that worked out. at
Yeah,
some
and
point.
it needs to show the revenue from everywhere.
They got to
get
be
it from.
open and transparent with the
Yes.
public, just like we are. They're asking for
Right.
public funds. They got to be open and transparent with us, and then we'll be happy to talk to them and help them. But that's got to get to be a better situation. One comment, 2470, the Pilot Grove maintenance allotment. I don't remember if I've updated y'all on that. They have gotten a grant for almost $1 million and just short of it, $900 and something thousand dollars to redo one of the lakes, soil conservation lakes, actually on John Horn's place that they've been working on for several years. It's about to collapse on them, and so they've got it. And I haven't called Sam in a few days and a few weeks. I need to check in with him, but they're going to have some matching funds, and I think the number is going to be around $60,000, and they don't have the funding to do that. And we've been funding them and helping them along, and we can't have that lake break and flood people's houses. So
And that's
I'm
how
planning on paying for it in this year's budget if we know what the number is.
And that's like you said, Sam's been here before. They rate those lakes by the danger level. So
Yeah, and that's a high danger level dam, so we need to help them get it fixed. So I hope if we don't, if we see that's not gonna happen this year, we may have to come back and revise. That's what I want to tell you. We may have to revise that 10,000 up before we approve the budget, but I'll have an answer before we get that done. Hopefully we'll get it paid this year.
Judge, we need to do something because that particular lake, that dam, and they're having dam problems, basically that farm market road will be wiped out. It has in the past.
Well, in that, there's a trailer house or
Yes.
2 trailer houses that'll probably get washed away too, so.
Yes.
It needs to get fixed, so we need to take care of that, and
Now,
that's a great deal with them getting that grant. I mean, it's gonna pay for,
if I may, we need to do this. We need to ask Daniel Ray to look into it because when that first came out, the lakes up north had to do with,
Pilot Grove.
working together in reference to that. So we need him to look into that so where we can assist these people in that area down there in reference to a match.
We've already been doing that.
It's already done.
It's already done. It's going through the Hunt County, what is it?
Soil water conservation.
Soil and Water Conservation. So it is their jurisdiction. What you're talking about is there's a Lake Fork watershed, and then there's a
That's right.
Pilot Grove Trinity River watershed.
Yes.
And the lakes up north are in one watershed, and the other one's in the other watershed. But
Yes.
they're all under the Hunt County Soil and Water Conservation District. Now, they have created a new board over at,
Down there?
yes,
Okay, so it's been created, that board.
yes, that board has been created. But as far as I know right now, it still has no funding, and they're not getting the grant. The Hunt County Soil and Water Conservation is the one getting the funding,
Okay.
or the grant, I guess.
Okay, good enough.
Yeah, they've already got everything done.
You know what, this came up earlier, and that's why I'm asking, to make sure that, that it is good.
It is good, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything's already done.
Yeah, it's all done as far as I know. All right, all right, anybody need a break? Y'all good? Keep going? I mean, we gotta quit here in a few minutes.
Take a break.
What time's y'all's meeting start? 12 or?
Right at 12,
Noon,
so
yes, sir.
we've probably got at least 15 till or so.
Do you
Okay.
have a golf cart waiting, Bruce?
Take a break.
Do you have a golf cart waiting?
What'd
I
he
need
say?
one. Hot out there too.
okay.
Hey, Philip would like to take a break.
Do what?
I'd like to take
Take a break. Let's take a real quick break. It's 11:25. We're gonna take a short break. Okay, it's 11:31, we're back in session after a short break.
You wanna go back and knock the sheriff out real quick?
Sure, okay, let's go back, sheriff. Adding the positions. Did I do that or you do that?
I did that.
Oh.
Not the positions,
I
Need
think
to vote on adding the positions?
not
or-
that.
the raise for the sheriff.
Oh, the individual raising, the sheriff raising the 75,000, is that what it was?
From 68 to 9.
68.5 to 75,000, everybody good with that?
Your microphone on?
It is now. Thank you.
From 68.9 to 75 with
Okay.
no 4%.
Correct. Everybody good with that?
Yes.
Any comments?
Okay. We're good. Everybody's yes.
Yeah, it's for Jennifer. We gotta make sure it's on record.
Is that the only one?
That's all we skipped.
Okay. All right, so we're back on the elections administration. Any comments? All right. Debt service. State comptroller, that's just repaying that sales tax money. Homeland Security. The only thing, I guess we'll share with, on the employee salary, Richard requested to be able to put on a new person October 1st to take, Michael Bean's place.
Michael Benson's.
Michael Benson's place as constable, and he says it takes a month or two for them to get all their certifications. So he wants to get somebody in October 1st, let them start taking their courses, take the test, get their certification, so he'll be ready to go, January 1st when Michael leaves. Everybody's good with that. So we just, we're putting another position on, but it's really, it'll just
7
flow into
Yes, sir.
Michael's salary. I
Yeah,
mean,
a new position for 7 paychecks, and then he merges into Michael Benson's
Michael
position.
Benson's spot, but he'll go ahead and be on full-time and get benefits and all that, so.
Yes, sir.
I thought that was an okay request
Yeah.
to be able to be up to full staff. Anything, anybody got any questions? Purchasing,
Raises as per the purchasing board.
yeah, the purchasing board,
Raised from
raised it from 54,991 to 60,000 for the purchasing agent salary.
Tammy's salary.
And Tammy's salary is 39,519 to 42,500. Everybody good with those two?
Do include or not include?
Not.
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 Okay.
Thank you.
Courthouse security.
Also, the law enforcement certification pay to be paid from the general fund.
Yes.
Yes.
Everybody good with that?
Say that again, please.
Law enforcement certification pay for courthouse security, we were paying for it out of Fund 10. They've been paying for it out of that fund, he didn't have any funds out of anymore, or for the current time. 911. I think Philip had brought up about a different raise for the department head. I called and looked around, I didn't really find a comparable with other counties. Most of them don't even have a 911 budget like we have. They carry it in some other department, I guess, because I never could find where they even had a person. Talked to Brent South and his GIS person who can program and do all of it, which Kathy Kane is making like 60. So I don't know.
One thing about it, the majority of their salary is paid by COG.
Is what?
I'm talking about 911.
There's a
they're
COG grant.
Right.
Yeah.
But for all of it, or?
Not all
It's
of
for,
it.
do y'all know?
We do
check.
not get,
Yeah, it's
we
in
do
the
not
revenue.
get reimbursed for her salary, no, sir.
We don't get reimbursed for the salary, Philip. There's a COG grant for $35,883.
And that's
That
more for
goes
the
to general
computers and all that, isn't it, the software?
It just says 911 coordinator.
I
COG
think they pay
grant.
her salary.
It's in Fund 10.
On page 5 in the revenue account. Fund 10, 30,770.
What? I don't know where this came from.
But I believe that was brought back
You can,
in
but
2003.
it's not personal.
I believe that's right.
What does everybody want to do? I mean, that's,
I want to increase their pay. I believe they're hard working and they deserve it.
And what would that be to, Philip?
I can't find my paper in reference to that.
The 53,740 we talked about before?
Pardon?
The 53,740 that we talked about before, is that what you're,
Yes. Yeah, I was wanting to increase that and also you look at all of our other department heads and I tell you what, they have a lot of visitors coming in. They take care of the business. In fact, all of us use them quite often.
well, give us some numbers. $53,740 on the first one, is that what you said? With no four,
that's what we talked about before.
with no
With
4%?
no 4%, and then 36,379 on the,
53,704 or 53,740?
53,740.
And what was the second one, Eric?
36,379 is what we talked about. Is that what you want to do, Philip? Is that what you're proposing?
Yeah, the first one was 53.
Yeah,
I'm okay.
53,740 is what Eric says on the first one, and then 36,739 on the second.
That's what,
36,379.
Huh?
36,379.
379.
Yes, sir.
With no 4%?
Yeah, that's
No 4%.
no 4%.
Well, with 4%, wouldn't you get more?
no, because he's at 34.
Pardon?
Oh, I'm sorry,
You're-
yeah.
You're looking at the proposed
I'm
budget
looking
that
at
is
pro-
with the 4%.
Yeah, yeah, so it gives her a little bit more, not much more than 4%.
Yeah.
Okay. Everybody good with that, or any comment? Okay. All right, those two raises with no 4%. Uh,
379.
capital improvement. Any comments on that? Okay,
I do have one question.
Okay.
Because I don't remember, just because I just saw this. I know y'all met with Dee the other day. Or what does it look like on the, any more tranches of the bonds or?
sounds like, I haven't talked to him since he was, it sounded like the meeting went good with Commerce, Tuesday. They had it Tuesday and I had a conflict and I wasn't able, when he talked to the city. But I saw some communication back and forth and I think it looks like they're gonna move forward with the, Commerce project. And if they do, then we're gonna have to do another tranche, but I don't know. We don't have it set up with a budget or anything yet of, what that's gonna cost us. And we talked about it the other day, with the financial advisors and gave us several options, and Dee had requested different amounts, but we haven't done anything finalized, but I'm sure we'll get back with Dee probably next week and, see where we're at and what he's thinking. And then we'll have to come back in and amend whatever we're gonna do.
All right.
We've got enough money, to get us through the end of the year or April or something like that with the projected cash flow with the current bond money.
Yeah, sir, we looked at the cash flow and the decision's gonna be made, and if for some reason we didn't have enough money, we would come to the Commissioners Court with a resolution to pay it out of our fund balance with the understanding that the bonds would pay that back when the bonds are sold. Does that make sense?
Yes.
The part of the rationale for that is if, with the time frame and when we have to do it, we can't budget for that when we don't have it.
Right.
And so, because we can't budget for the interest, because we don't know what the interest and all is gonna be, it will hurt our bond, amount. We'll have to pay a little bit more interest because they're gonna have to wait, what, 17 months or something it was?
Yeah,
before they
something like-
get a first interest payment.
Right.
And so
Instead of
they
12.
charge us a little bit more,
Right.
so I suggested and asked Bruce if he thought we could just fund it. So we can fund it, and we asked the financial people, and said, as long as it's soft cost, we
That-
can reimburse ourselves out of the bond money. So, you know, we might wanna carry it out, you know, the tough decision that we all talked about, the interest rate's so low right now, it's really attractive. But we have enough fund balance right now to carry it for a while and not pay any interest. So, but if we wait too long and interest rates go up,
Right.
we kinda shot ourselves in the foot. But if we, you know, if we do it now and rates go down or we were having to pay interest for a while. And then
Right.
once you issue them, we got, what, 3 years to,
Something like that.
3 years to spend the money. So
It-
then you got that problem with COVID, and he's gonna talk, Dee and I are supposed to talk to the state to see what their thoughts are on funding. I was on, the, RT, Regional Transportation Council meeting yesterday. I'm the substitute with Rockwall, and, David Magnus called me yesterday and said he had a family emergency or something going on. Could I get on the call? So I did. And, COG's still worried about the funding. They're not sure where all the funding's gonna be going. So that is a real concern that we might wanna consider if we get any penalties for not spending it in 3 years. We don't wanna get too far out in front of the design and then it takes 5 or 6 years to get it built and they have to do any revisions or whatever, so.
And at the
We-
same time, you're concerned about the interest rate that's down low, but we also don't want to get money and pay interest on that money and not be able to spend it, and we're having negative, we can't earn that much interest on it, so it'll be
Right.
costing us for money we really don't need yet.
Right, so
Those are,
we got, it's not gonna be an easy decision to make.
what does Logic pay right now,
Brittany,
Ms. Treasurer?
it's Logic pay right now.
0.65 or something, isn't it?
Oh, it's,
I just ran it,
it was about a,
Logic was at .4. This
Yeah.
for that for month end.
yeah, it was between it was like 0.4 to 0.5, right in the middle there.
Last time I
And
thought
that
it
was
was
good month in July.
Point.
I mean, it's
And that's our best investment, correct?
it's almost not like earning anything.
Certificates of deposit. which are solid.
And they're gonna charge us, right now the bonds were 2.5, 2.4 or something like that, wasn't it?
Something like that, and then of course we talked about refinancing and stuff like that too, and there were some issues in the previous contract where we couldn't.
Well, and it was low too. They
It was
had it at a
low.
real low time too. It wasn't gonna save us much. I think our current ones are like 2.8 or 2.9 or something, so it wasn't gonna be a huge savings. All right,
think-
you know, we can knock out the exchange building right quick, and then they gotta go, or y'all need to go now.
Are we gonna come back later today, one way or the
1:30.
other?
Y'all want to just break for lunch?
Give us a break for lunch.
I thought we was coming back at 1:30. I believe
Is
that.
that okay? Everybody come back. We're gonna adjourn till 1:30. We have some folks that we've got a scheduled meeting and we need to take a lunch break, so we'll reconvene at 1:30.